This YCN segment is brought to you by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer.
Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide. One final segment, and before we get to our Salt Hill Pub picks of the week, Andrew, just quickly recapping the college football playoffs. Obviously, those were announced Sunday. Number 1 team Clemson, number 2 Oklahoma, 3 Auburn, and 4 Alabama. I know there was a lot of debate, Alabama versus Ohio State. Alabama ultimately gets in. So should they go to 6 teams, maybe 8 teams, and then just make it a little bit, or are we always going to have this problem?
Yeah, I think maybe expanding it to 6 teams would be okay if you had a first-round bye for the top two teams. I think it's a little tricky adding an extra round, just adding another game. I think just having 3 games or 2 games to get to the championship game, just that extra round, that might be a little too much. Like you were saying before, I think there's always going to be a team or multiple teams complaining that they should have gotten in, no matter how many teams you add. But I think 4 teams, it does seem a little small.
Right, it just seems like there's 5 major conferences. So if you're only getting 4 teams in, you're already losing 1 conference.
Right, exactly. And you know, even this expansion is relatively new. I mean, this
4 years.
Yeah. And so already we're talking about making it bigger. So, I mean, when it was just 2 teams, there was always a ton of controversy, about just you pick who we think is the best 2 and they play each other. And now that there's 4, I think it's definitely better. But I think adding maybe 6 with just that first round bye could be the way to go.
Right. So, I mean, there's lots of time before the games are played, so we'll be talking about that over the next few weeks. Down in the FCS, UNH gets the win on Saturday, and now they'll play again this weekend. South Dakota State Jackrabbits, and the backup quarterback comes in, gets the win last week. Now they're big 18-point underdogs this week, so good luck to UNH as they continue on. And quickly, before we get to our picks, Friday night, Sunapee girls, Portsmouth Christian girls will be at that game, 5:30 on Friday. It'll air on Saturday. What do you think about that? What's the preview of that game? Yeah,
so I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Sunapee girls respond to losing so many big seniors last year. All 5 of their starters last year were seniors, and they lost their head coach as well, so it's going to be a completely different team. I think they're still going to have some good girls, definitely. I think they're going to be probably a top 4 team come the end of the season. They're definitely going to take a step back. There's no doubt about that, especially losing Katie Frederick. She was 6'3" in the paint. She scored a big double-double every single game, it seemed like. So they're definitely going to take a step back, but I think it's going to be a good game. The Lakers, I think they're going to be fine, just not as good as last.
Well, they've won 3 championships in a row,
undefeated,
and they haven't lost a game in 3 seasons. So it's pretty reasonable to think that they'll take at least 1 step back. So we'll have that game for you. Check our website, ycnnow.com, and you can see when that airs on Saturday.
It's time for the Salt Hill Pub Picks of the Week. Salt Hill Pub, honest food, perfect pints, live music, now here to serve you in 5 locations.
All right, here we go for the picks, the records on the season. I am 43-22, and the guest is 39-26.
That's not bad.
And Andrew, you are 17-8, so that's pretty good record. So we'll let you start with the Thursday night game. Saints-Falcons, a big division game. Both these teams still in the mix for playoffs and the division. Who you got?
Well, I think the Falcons have struggled at times this year. I've picked them a ton this year and I've been wrong. Their offense, it seems they have so many good pieces, but it just haven't clicked. I'm going with the Saints. I think Drew Brees is having a really good year, and guys like Ingram and Thomas, they're a really good team. Well, they've won are they still on that win streak?
No, they lost to the Rams, but they've won they've won 9 out of their last 10 or something like that.
I think they're on
8 out of their last 9 or something. Yeah, they're a really good team. I'm going to go opposite you. I'm going to take the Falcons. They're at home. They're getting a little bit better, but you're right. They're still inconsistent. It's just that being at home, I'm taking the Falcons in that one. Another big NFC matchup, Vikings and Panthers. Who you got there?
Yeah, so I think the Vikings have a really good defense, but I'm going with the Panthers. I think Cam Newton and throwing to guys like Funchess, I think he's having another really good season. Not MVP type year, but he's having a good year. I'm going with the home team, Panthers.
And I agree with you. I'm taking the Panthers there as well. The Vikings coming off a big win over the Falcons last week. They might have that letdown now. And the Panthers, they're playing pretty well. I know they lost last week, but I'm taking the Panthers. Over to the AFC. In the West, all of a sudden this division is tied up. The Chiefs have lost something like 5 out of 6. Raiders, Chiefs. Chiefs are at home, though. Who you got?
Yeah, I think definitely the Chiefs have struggled. They looked like the best team of the year at the beginning of the year, But I'm going with the Chiefs. I just think the Raiders, I just don't think they're a complete team. I'm going with the home team, going with the Chiefs.
I agree with you. Again, I don't trust the Raiders at all. I take the Chiefs. Alex Smith, a good offensive game last week. The defense needs to step it up, but I'm taking the Chiefs in that one.
Gotcha.
And this is a huge game.
Yeah.
Not a conference game. Seahawks travel across the country to face the Jaguars. Big game for both these teams.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Jaguars have a really solid defense, but I'm going with the Seahawks, obviously beating the Eagles last week. That's a huge win for them. I think they're going to carry that momentum over.
And I agree with you. Again, I'm taking the Seahawks. I know it could be one of those things where that big win against the Eagles, it's a trap, you go on the road, but this Seahawks team, they're still fighting for the division. They're behind the Rams, so they know this one's important. I take them. Then the final game, Eagles and Rams, another huge game in the NFC.
Yeah, this one's a tough choice. I'm going with the Eagles. I think they're going to rebound after last week's loss. The Rams have been really good. Jared Goff is having a really good season, but I'm going with the Eagles and Carson Wentz.
And we'll make it official. I'll take the Eagles as well. They stayed out west, obviously in Seattle, then going down to L.A., so they're staying out west, and I think they'll be rested, and they'll beat the Rams this coming week. That's going to do it for us. Don't forget to check out our website, ycnnow.com, for the listings of our show, and you can watch the show online. YCN Sports Talk. Thanks for watching.